Post game. It's not a post game yet. Oh, my goodness. We're going to watch the end of this thing together. Welcome one, welcome all. To those of you taking a listen to this, so the official comes to the middle of the field to begin overtime and says, great game so far, huh, guys? There's something paraphrasing. And Crosby, he's looking at Crosby. Crosby, who's had a terrible game. He's missed 2 field goal attempts and a PAT. It's something that just never happens for him. Never happens. And it's just it's 22-22. Bengals taking the kickoff. And they're going to start at about their own 25, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll let you know. But, oh, my goodness. It's not a choke job. Every now and then we've seen Mason Crosby, going back years ago when he missed, 5 or 6 over in Detroit. It just happens. It just, remember now, Bojorquez is his holder. He came in the week before the game, the very first game. Now, they should have it kind of down by now, but maybe just something different today at Paul Brown Stadium. The winds are different at Paul Brown Stadium. It's a weird game, but or it's a weird stadium, but nevertheless, it's just off. It's just off. 877-867-1670. Now you've got Devondre Campbell with a pick of Joe Burrow, which I can't believe Joe Burrow even threw the football. Packers deep in Bengal territory, celebrating. Maybe the defense is going to redeem themselves and actually win this game if Aaron Rodgers and company can either stick it into the end zone or you get a little bit of redemption out of Mason Crosby. But Kenny Clark and company doing everything they could just to kind of hold the line, so to speak. And Joe Burrow, I don't know what he was looking at, but threw it right to Devondre Campbell. He just didn't see him. He just flat out didn't see him. So there you go. Saving victory out of the jaws of defeat is maybe what the Packers are going to do. How are we looking today? What a day. What a day. The ref cracking jokes. I know, right? Dustin, that's fantastic stuff. The ref looks at you and goes, hell of a day there, aren't you? It's just, you got to laugh. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, by all means, go ahead and do so. 877-867-1670. And you've got the Packers right now letting time somewhat wind down. And we'll see what happens here along the way. Got one here from Jack. Jack says, this has been a putrid game. The Packers have played down to their competition. There's something about Paul Brown Stadium. They just don't want to win there. If they win this game, it will be the first win by the Packers in their team history at Paul Brown Stadium. The first time they went there was with Brett Favre, and they lost that contest. That was the infamous drunk fan running out onto the field and stealing the ball from Brett Favre. And then the last time they were in Cincinnati, they ended up losing to Cincinnati in a game in which the Bengals defense, Dunlap and Sampson, just harassed the hell out of Aaron Rodgers. And you also had a game in which Clay Matthews was just a one-man wrecking crew, and he went down with an injury. And that was also the game in which Aaron Rodgers had also gotten into it with Mike McCarthy. And so those two, that was the beginning of that might have been the beginning of the end as far as those two in play calling and such for the Packers. So anyway, but glad you're with us. I'm glad you're with us. Derek says, I don't think it's been that awful. Defense has looked good. Offense has been good till the red zone. Bengals are a good football team. I agree with you. It's a sloppy game on both sides by two good teams. Let's be honest, though. Okay. By the way, the Packers on 3rd and 15 have now lined up for a Mason Crosby game-winning kick. Because remember, the Bengals got the ball first, so they did not score. Packers picked them off. If the Packers score here, the game is over. So just for those trying to stay with us at home. but Mason Crosby lining up for a field goal, and the Bengals have called timeout. But the Packers now have given up scores in their red zone defense is terrible. Their red zone defense, once you get into the red zone, you're putting it into the end zone. They just can't stop anybody. I don't know why Joe Barry at the end of that game, by the way, or end of the first half, by the way, I have no idea why he decided to only rush two and give Chase the ability to get downfield and put it into the end zone. No idea. Now, granted, I thought Darnell Savage Jr. had knocked that thing down. I really did. I thought this is easy. Oh my God, Mason Crosby has missed yet another field goal. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just, it's unfathomable that Mason Crosby, he's lost his swing. So he'll get it back. I'm not concerned, but he's just lost his swing. And this is at the opposite end of the stadium, so you can't blame it on the wind there. Both ends of the stadiums. It is just a house of horrors for Cincinnati. To go into that city and for the Green Bay Packers and try to play it, just for whatever reason, it's a house of horrors. And the defense has done enough. Oh, God. Now, Chris, don't, okay? Don't say Mason sucks. You got to bring in a new guy, because every time you do, Mason outkicks him. He's been a tremendous kicker. He's been a Packers Hall of Fame kicker for so many years. He just is off today. Everybody has a bad day. He's having a bad day. You don't get rid of him because of a bad day. He's been one of the most clutch kickers for the Packers in their history and one of the most clutch kickers in the NFL. But between the three missed field goals and we saw this again. Go back to Detroit years ago. Since then, he's been one of the best kickers in the league. I'm not throwing him out. No, you just got to come back and get your swing back. It's kind of like being a golfer. Okay, when you're a golfer and you start slicing and you can't figure out why. You change your grips, you rotate your hands over, you step a little bit up to the ball, you step a little back to the ball, you put the ball a little bit further back in your stance, whatever it happens to be. You just do your thing, right? You just do your thing. And you're still slicing the ball. For whatever reason, you got a hitch in your giddy up. You can't figure it out. You need to step back, go through a little video. You need to get somebody to look at you, say, what am I doing wrong, and figure it out. But you usually don't figure it out on the course, right? He's going to be fine. He'll be fine. I'm not tossing Mason Crosby out because all of a sudden in game 5 of the regular season, now he's bad. He's been money pretty much all season long, but now he's bad. So come on. I'm not throwing him out. But it is an odd day. I said that. I tweeted that out earlier today. I put that out a little bit earlier today. I said it's just a weird deal. Just a weird deal. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, do so. That's going to be a catch, by the way. That thing's going to, I think, be a catch for Cincinnati as they put the ball downfield. We'll wait and see. Derek, you're right. He said it shows how easy it is to just kind of get in your own head. 100% correct. 100% correct. No doubt. Derek says Crosby Hall of Famer. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not. He'll be a Packers Hall of Famer. He's not going to be an NFL Hall of Famer, but he's going to be a Packers Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that. For what he's done, the fact that he was on a Super Bowl winning team, played so many years with one team, it is what it is. It is what it is. College Football Talk, by the way, just posted a meme, a look inside Mason Crosby's head, and all you see is the dumpster fire floating down the flooded stream. Oh my goodness. My goodness. By the way, the Packers defense, let's just say they give this up. Okay. How much will they be ripped for giving it up? Fighting so hard, giving the ball back to the Packers, time and time again, the Packers in the red zone couldn't punch the ball in. In the red zone, couldn't punch the ball in. Packers couldn't do it. And I don't understand some of the play calling. I want to go back to that as well. I put that in the headers. The play calling, you're running the ball extremely well with Aaron Jones early on in this game. You don't give the ball back to him. Aaron Jones in an overtime game has a total of 13 carries, and he's got 104 yards. I have no idea why they quit giving the ball to Aaron Jones. And especially when you got to the red zone, you went A.J. Dillon up the gut, and he wasn't getting anywhere. It's a pretty staunch defense by Cincinnati. He was going up the gut, and he wasn't getting anything. Didn't get it. 877-867-1670. I'm sure you'll start calling the program once this game ends. Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky says some of this is on Matt LaFleur for the play calling. It's not even that it was conservative because you got conservative down. No, they went up the gut, but here's the thing. Not only did they go up the gut, but then all of a sudden they went to all passes. Now, again, I don't know if that's Rodgers or LaFleur. No, he's never going to tell us. From 45, 55 yards out, oh my goodness, Cincinnati has now missed a field goal as well. They're waving it off. It hit. There's those little floaty tags that blow in the wind to tell you which direction the wind is that sit above or atop the goalpost. That little flag was pointing left of the goalpost, outside of the left goalpost, and it hit it, which Cincinnati thought that meant, like, if it hits a foul pole, it's good. But since it was outside of the actual goalpost, it was no good. So with 4:14 remaining in the game, we are still tied at 22 apiece, and still, if the Packers can drive down and put it within field goal range, Mason Crosby could still have an opportunity to win this thing and redeem himself before it's all said and done.
Should they just let Bajorquez hit the next one?
You know what? Punt it through. Give me a drop kick. Give me a drop kick. Wow. This is an amazing game. This is the battle for ineptitude today. For lack of a better term. Just two kickers who are just struggling, for lack of a better term. They're just struggling. And the one, whoever just steps up is going to be the one who makes a big play. Packers go right to the air to Devante Adams, and that falls incomplete, so the Packers are trying to drive down the field. 855-830-8648. 855-830-8648. If you want to give us a shout, go ahead. Feel free to go ahead and do so. Love to hear from you. Oh, the big man, Mercedes. Big man, Mercedes Lewis. Oh, yeah. Gets down into inside Bengal territory. I'm loving this. This one's from Kareem. Kareem says, this game is terrible, yet one of the most exciting games ever. That's it. That's a great way to put it. It is terrible. It's a terrible game. There is some good to take out of it, but overall, it's a terrible game. A lot of bad execution, bad play calling, and you know, just defenses that have been beaten up at the most inopportune times. It's amazing, just amazing. This is just a freakish game. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. If you are a fan of Twitter, and I'm on it. It is just a pleasure to sit back and watch right now. If you follow all of these prognosticators, this is just amazing. This is amazing. Let's do this. Aaron Rodgers just got sacked. It's now a big third down. Let's, you know what? I think, Ben, we should probably keep it here and wait for the reaction. Because this is nuts.
At what point do we just root for a tie?
Right?
Like, I would rather Rodgers throw 4 Hail Marys right here than put the ball on Crosby's leg.
No, I want to see Crosby redeem himself. Look at Randall Cobb getting held down the field, too, by the way. Something that's not. He's jumping in the air, flailing his arms. The defender is still holding on to him, and nobody is throwing a flag. At least we saw a tripping call today. By the way, the big news out of Madison today, Jalen Berger dismissed from the team. Any thoughts on that there real quick, Ben?
It's weird. I mean, it makes sense because there was something going on. He didn't really play, but we'll never know the real story because they don't really tell us anything.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't let us know what the reason was, just the fact that they're one of their top guys from last season we thought was going to be a big factor into this season is no longer with the team. He's gone. So the internal issues, I don't know if they just continue to spread or they just continue to be eliminated, one of the two, but Badgers get a nice win yesterday. Not a great win, but a nice win, just to get back on track.
At least Bielema had a day.
Yes. That's a whole other story for tomorrow. So the Packers sitting at 3rd and 16, by the way. And we'll let you know what happens. By the way, going back to it, 7 plays, 38 yards, 355. The Bengals ended with a missed field goal. Packers go 3 plays, 5 yards, minute 39, missed field goal. Bengals go 1 play, 0 yards, interception. Then 3 plays, 20 yards for 21 seconds, missed field goal. And then after that, you got to 9 plays, 35 yards, and a missed field goal by the Bengals. And then 5 plays, 57 yards, and a missed field goal by the Packers. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Let's do this. We are going to step away and take a quick break. We're going to come back, and the Packers just converted a 3rd down. They are still driving. Only a few minutes to go in overtime. You got a Bengal injury on the field. Let's step away. We'll come back, and either we're going to give you the end of this game or we'll tell you who won. Stay tuned. More right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes.
Punt! Punt!
Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes.
Do a little description. Right? That's a hell of a game there, gentlemen. Third and 15, when you kick the field goal, you actually transfer possession because you are booting the ball away.
Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute.
That's just the way the rule is.
Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Boy, kudos to Randall Cobb for hanging in there, man. That was a hell of a hit.
For the win, McPherson's kick is off the upright.
No good. 2 minutes, 9 seconds remaining. You still have an injury timeout, and they're in a booth review and such. And Bates went down with an injury. Randall Cobb getting a reception over the middle. And give credit to Cobb, man, because he laid more of the physicality in that particular case rather than absorbing it. And Bates went down, and he was taken off the field. And so now you've got the officiating crew coming out and saying basically the call on the field stands. So it is what it is. Aaron Rodgers and company going to try to win this thing, or at the very least, maybe give a chip shot. Give a chip shot to Mason Crosby. It is 4th and inches for the Pack. So we'll see what happens here. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, this has been a wild one, to say the very least. A wild one. And because of the length of the game, we may or may not get all the post-game stuff in it. We're going until 5 o'clock Central Time tonight. On 4th and inches, the Packers tried to draw the Bengals off sides. Bengals didn't bite. Packers call a timeout. And here comes Mason Crosby. And then we get the 2-minute warning in overtime. So we go back to commercial break. How are we looking? A couple of things that I want to get to, some notes. I got notes written down all over the place. This is just bizarre. Notes everywhere. So first and foremost, the first thing I have to say is I did not understand going away from Aaron Jones early on in this contest. Didn't get it. They were having a lot of success running the football, okay? A lot of success. Aaron Jones goes up the gut for 14 yards. Rodgers passes over the middle to Hill, goes for 5 yards, first down. Then Aaron Jones goes back up the gut for 11 yards. And then Aaron Jones goes around the right guard for 3 yards, between the guard and tackle gap for 3. And after that, it's pass, incomplete. Pass, incomplete, punt. They get the ball back, and then it's pass, incomplete. Then it's picked off. Then Joe Burrow and company take the ball and ended up punting it away. They get the ball right back. Aaron Jones gets one run. By the way, Mason Crosby has redeemed himself. He split the uprights, and the Green Bay Packers are winners 25-22. 25-22. There you go. Packers, I tell you what, both fan bases are going to be out of their damn minds today. But 25-22, the final. Mason Crosby with redemption. You could see it on his face when the kick split the upright, just to say, let me just get out of here. It was a bad day. Glad we won, but let me just get out of here. And a little bit of a smile on his face. There you go. There you go. So going back to the play calling, my argument was after that it goes, Rodgers incomplete out of the shotgun. Rodgers incomplete out of the shotgun. Bjorquez punts. You get shotgun. And the Packers weren't moving the football. You were running the ball extremely well, and they get away from it. All of a sudden, it's like they have to pass. They had to throw the football. And I don't know if you noticed that. Today, in an overtime game, Aaron Jones goes 14 carries, 103 yards. Had a hell of a day. But they just weren't getting him the football. They don't get the guy lathered up anymore. They gave him a few catches out of the backfield, 4 catches for 6 yards, but 3 of those catches were like minus 9 yards. There wasn't a lot to it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. Mason Crosby stepping to the line, trying to redeem himself. Here's what it sounded like, my friends.
From the left hash, 2 minutes remaining in overtime. Crosby's kick this time is good. From GOAT to hero, Crosby wins it in overtime.
There you go. GOAT to hero. Crosby getting the win. GOAT to hero. And good stuff for Mason Crosby. I've got a lot of friends of mine that actually live in Cincinnati, and they're somewhat freaking out. Oh, man. There you go. Kevin says, thank God. Or Jeff says, thank God. Kevin hits me up and says, never a doubt, Crosby never missed 4 in a row. Go, Pack, go. There you go. I agree. This is just such a bizarre scenario today that unfolded in front of us. If you want to give us a shout, now's the time. Phone lines are wide open. Let's talk about it. Phone lines are wide open. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Give it to me. The good, the bad, the ugly. What do you got today? Because this was a game of everything. This was a game of all of it. Play call. Bad decision. Terrific defensive front play, some terrific defensive play calls, and then some craptastic defensive play calls. Some misses. The Darnell Savage swing and a miss on Chase's touchdown. All of a sudden, the momentum changed in the game. The defense gets a couple of different picks today. They pressured Joe Burrow, and then they gave up big chunk yardage, and they couldn't get off the field in the red zone. And, I mean, this game's got it all. This game had it all. There was nothing boring about this game. By the way, it looked like it was a touchdown catch, and I thought it was, but it wasn't. I thought the Raiders were going to go up 7-0 on Chicago. Wouldn't pain me at all. Chris says, not going to sugarcoat this. Mason led me to consume an entire 6-pack, and I'm listening to the dulcet tones of the big unit as I drift into a nap. That's okay. That's okay. You can do that. One of the strangest games we've ever seen. One of the strangest games we've ever seen. No doubt. Packers, as Tim puts it, Packers are bruised and battered, and they still figured out a way to get a win. They figured out a way numerous times to get a win. That I'll give you, because they kept coming back and coming back and coming back. So give them credit. The offense down the stretch did what it needed to do. No doubt about it. But just a bizarre win for the Packers today. I go with the play calling. I look at the defense. I look at sometimes arm tackles, and I'm getting into arguments with people. It's like, look, tackling is tackling. I know Jair got hurt. I know he's got a shoulder issue. They're going to let it heal. It's going to take time. Okay, on all that kind of stuff. All right. But tackling is just, you either do it or you don't. And I think you run more of a risk of getting injured if you don't. I'm talking about some of the plays in the secondary where guys were just kind of tossing the bodies out there. Look, if you get kicked in the head, if you just throw your body out there, you're going to get kicked in the head with a concussion, kicked in the ribs, whatever it happens to be. If you're just launching yourself as a missile, trying to knock somebody over that way. If you're not putting your arms out, if you're not wrapping up, if you're not using your shoulder, if you're not moving your head, things can happen. Things can happen. You can get hurt. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. Robin says he missed 5 field goals in Detroit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was somebody's tweet, by the way, that said he never misses 5. He's done it. We haven't, wanted to dwell on it, but he's done it. But that's what I said. After that game in Detroit, he really went back to the drawing board, kind of became the kicker everybody expected him to be after that, and has been that kicker ever up until this game, for the most part, right? He's been damn good. Packers get a win. They knock off Cincinnati. Cincinnati takes the second loss in the season. Packers, miraculously, on a 25-22 win, go to 4-1 on the season. 4-1 on the season. Next up on the docket, next weekend, they are in Chicago for a noon kickoff. Next weekend in Chicago, noon kickoff. Let's do this. We'll come back. We'll get to the phone calls. Austin, you're going to be first out of the chute. Stay tuned. We're getting your reaction as the Packers get basically a walk-off win in overtime, 25-22 on a Mason Crosby field goal. Stay tuned. We got more coming up right after this. We are brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Green and Gold postgame show. More after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
What a game. What a game. Holy mackerel. 25-22, the Green Bay Packers, they ended up knocking off Cincinnati, getting their first win ever at Paul Brown Stadium. First win ever at Paul Brown Stadium. And it comes in a very weird game in which neither kicker wanted to make a field goal, and finally it was Mason Crosby who got some redemption and split the uprights in overtime to give the Green Bay Packers the win. Let's get to the phone calls and get your reaction to this game because there's so much to talk about. 877-867-1670. Austin, you're first out of the chute, man. What's going on?
Hey, Bill. Holy cow. What a game, man. I'm telling you, I'm almost, it's range of emotions this whole game. I'm just happy that there's not a Brewers playoff game after this. I just don't think I can go through this much emotion. But I'll tell you this right now, Campbell, man, that guy can play.
Yeah.
I mean, he is making some big plays, but I don't know. Again, somebody's got to step up in the secondary with Jair Alexander out. I mean, I do think though, I think I like seeing the confidence they give Stokes going man. I think he's only going to get better. Now, with regarding Mason Crosby, like my thoughts were is at the end of regulation, like we just need to get him out of there. Like we need to get him. Let's find a way to win this game. Let's score a touchdown and just have him kind of hit the reset button after this game. I didn't want him going out and trying to kick the game winner. I mean, it turned out it worked out, but like if I'm LaFleur, I'm like, all right, we need to figure out a way to score a touchdown here in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think I was just kind of puzzled about a lot of the play calling that they had in overtime. I'm happy it worked out for us, but it was just a lot of that stuff. I was just like, we got to find a way to win without Crosby getting on the field and kicking a field goal.
Yeah,
so,
I would agree. I wanted to. Well, on the other hand, though, don't you think it's good for Mason to walk away with that win?
It is, and absolutely, I absolutely agree. But let's play devil's advocate on it. What if he missed that? Then and then you're going into a potential tie when he didn't, which is good. He's a professional. He's been in a long time. He made the big kick, but I just think it probably would have been safer to maybe just hit the reset button next week against the Bears. But I mean, again, in the end, it worked out for us. When he kicked it, I was like, oh, thank goodness. It wasn't like a yippee. It was just like, okay, good. We won it. It's just completely found out about that. So, a win's a win. And like, hey, what you said, right? You got to be lucky sometimes. That's what good teams do. Yeah. So hopefully this can help going forward.
Yep, no doubt, man. Appreciate the phone call. Thanks, Austin. He drops off. You get on board 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's go back to the phone calls. Talk to Joe. Joe, welcome to the program, man. What's going on?
Hey, Bill. Thanks for having me on again, man. I appreciate it.
You bet.
I think I aged probably about 30 years after that game, and then watching the Texas A&M Alabama game last night too. Between those two games, man, that's sloppy, insane type football games, but good things to go around, and you never apologize for a huge road win against a team like the Bengals. I was dead wrong. I thought the Bengals were going to put up at least 30 and would probably win like 30, 31 to 20-ish, give or take, maybe like 23 or something like that. The defense, I thought, played very well, considering you're without Z and Jair.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Clark is just he's an animal. Devante Campbell, he's not talked about enough in Wisconsin sports arenas, if you will. That signing by Goot might be Goot's best signing since he's been the general manager. I'm not joking. Bill, he was all over the place. When they said he was questionable to return with a shoulder, my heart dropped. I thought, oh no, they cannot lose him. I thought there's positives and negatives to take away from this game, but I think the one thing you take away is it's a huge road win against a pretty good opponent in the NFL, right? You take it. You don't apologize for it. I thought the offensive line played well at times. I thought they played bad at times, which is expected when you have the TV threw up a stat that they have the fewest starts out of any team in, I forget how many years it was, but I think combined today they had 70 total starts between that entire unit. So not a bad performance when you're considering those factors. The one thing, Bill, if I'm going to nitpick here on this, I don't understand the play calling listen, I love Coach LaFleur. He's one of the best. He is the best in my opinion in the NFL. But when you're running works, stop away from it. That frustrates me so bad. Special teams though, Bill, I'm very worried about the special teams, man. Punt coverage, punt return, kick. I'm just concerned with the special teams. I thought it was a huge for Mason to hit that game winner. That was huge because that could have really derailed him for a couple weeks. But great win, right?
Look at this. When you bring up special teams, Borges had a shank. You had four missed field goals by Mason Crosby, a missed PAT. You had a gash where they got ripped off for a 47-yard, I think, kickoff return. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're giving special teams a grade, I mean, everything across the board, it's an F today.
Oh, hell yeah, without doubt. I mean, it was bad, very bad. And maybe that's indicative of the injuries that they have, but not really because Jair doesn't play special teams, neither does Darius. But I don't know. I'm not sure what they can do to clean some of that up on special teams. I think they might be what they are, but hopefully they can trend in a more positive direction from this game because there was a lot of tape on this game, Bill, that you can look in a meeting room and say it can be corrected.
Right.
I mean, Mason Crosby is not missing 4 field goals again. It's just not happening. That doesn't happen. That's just such a fluky, weird thing that happens. Again, it's a huge road win. That's awesome. Great road win, right?
Well, you're sitting 4-1 atop the division. I mean, whether you won ugly in overtime or whatever, I mean, it's still a win. And in the grand scheme of things, you got Chicago coming up, you got Washington coming up back at home, and then you got a really, really tough contest by the time you get to Arizona. So you just got to keep checking the box in the win column.
Yeah, stack the wins. Get the wins knocked out right now because you're right. You're going to have a couple tougher opponents coming up with the Cardinals. And get the wins now while you can. But, Bill, I'm sorry, man. Devonte Campbell, when you rewatch the game, just watch him. He is everywhere. Everywhere.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you.
All over the place.
Yep.
I mean, Green Bay does not value the inside linebacker position. Campbell should be showing.
You know what? And here's a great point. You bring something up, and let me expound upon it. Appreciate the phone call. Thanks so much. Let me give this real quick. We hear this, and we heard this a while ago when Elliot Wolf stated when the media was asking time and again about whether or not the Green Bay Packers were going to go in the direction of a middle linebacker. And he said at the podium, you guys, he kind of laughed. He said, you guys seem to really value that middle linebacker position more so than we do. And one of the things about it, and I go back to, I can't remember what broadcast I was listening to. And I completely apologize because the name escapes me off the top of my head. However, when you don't value something, it's because you don't have it. If you've got a top-notch, snot-locking linebacker who can read, who can cover, he can kind of be everywhere and lead your team, that is your team leader. That's the guy you love to have. When you don't have it, you don't value it. Oh, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. You know, we get things done in other ways. Crap. It's crap. It's like when a baseball team, well, they're going to do it closer by committee. We don't need a big-time closer. We don't need a go-to guy. We're doing it with 3 or 4 different guys. We're good with this. It's because you don't have one. When you got one, you value it. When you got one, you hang on to him like grim death. That's the reason they say that. It's a very telltale sign. It's like, do you think the Brewers would prefer the starter by committee, the bullpen starter? Do you think they would prefer that right now over having Burns and Woodruff and Peralta and Hauser and Lauer? Do you think they'd prefer that right now? Let's just go ahead and throw a bullpen guy who's been pitching well out there tonight. Would you rather do that? Of course not. So when you got good starters, of course you value them. But if you don't have good starters, you're going to say, we're good. We got a good staff. We don't need that. That's overrated. No, it's not. It's only overrated when you don't have one. 877-867-1670. A lot of phone calls coming up. We're going to hear from Mason Crosby as well. Stay tuned. More of the Green and Gold Postgame Show presented by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. More after this.
This is the Green and Gold Postgame Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, 'cause I get a good feeling. Yeah.
Welcome back. Packers get a win, 25-22 in overtime. It is a walk-off victory for Mason Crosby, a little bit of redemption. Start yourself a new record, young man. Go from there. Mason Crosby, after missing 4 field goals and a PAT, finally splits the uprights. It's just one of those days, man. Just one of those days. Nothing more. That's it. Let's do this. We got a lot of people chiming in over in the Bud Light live stream, and thanks to everybody for hanging out with us over there. I want you to take a listen. Mason Crosby at the podium moments ago. Here it is.
Any of those misses that just happened in your head, you blocked it out. What's in your mind?
Yeah, I'm just I'm focused on that next one. So I mean that was a crazy end to that game. I mean that's insanity. So the fact that we kept getting opportunities, I mean you got to give it to our team the way we fought to get in that position again. And I just wanted so badly to come through there. It's what I do, and it's I had a couple go bad there, and I was really happy to hit that last one.
Was there more relief or excitement for the last one?
A little bit of both. Yeah, I mean, it's I knew I felt really good on that left hash, a little right to left win. So I made 2 from 44 there earlier in the game. So just trusted that it was going to move a little slightly right to left. Felt really good about the op and the hit, and so that's. Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of relief, but there was excitement. I mean, winning is tough, so this is a good one for us.
Have you ever been in a game like that where people were this inside?
I don't think anyone has. I saw that was a record, so I think that was in like the last 2.5 minutes or something. So. Unfortunately, been a part of a couple weird ones, but when you play this game for a long time, you see a lot of different. Things. So that was a strange one. Obviously, both of us on that the end coming away from our tunnel, we both hit balls on that left side of the uprights, and it moved left. It just kind of strange down there. So you live, you learn, and I'm glad I got to hit that last one.
What happened on the 3 misses, do you think?
Did knock him through the uprights. I mean, we're going to look at the film, and just we do every time, make or miss. We go and evaluate it, and I have to find a line on those and try to knock them through.
What's the celebration like in there? It sounds like one of the more jubilant locker rooms I've been adjacent to.
Y'all could hear us, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's exciting. I mean, that type of game. The way this team is finding ways to win, and the way that we just are so resilient. I mean, that's awesome. So you have to celebrate it. You have to have joy and love, what we do here. So, we're gonna enjoy this moment, and then we'll clean up the stuff that we need to clean up, and move on to the next one.
So you've been in such a great groove for so long. Is it almost a shock when one doesn't go through?
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, I have every confidence I'm going to make every kick. Felt honestly on most of them, we'll have to look at them, but especially that 51-yarder right at the end of the game, felt really good about that, and I just picked a bad line, so and the wind just kind of took it left on me, but I have no doubt in my ability and what I'm going to do and reload and go on to the next one. So it's we're just going to keep grinding with the process.
It all come down to just with the line, or were there issues with the operations? All 3 of those are obviously
I can't. I don't like to talk on it until I look at it. So I'll have to look at it on film, and it's just how the ball came off my foot. It just started left, and I can't have it do that. So.
How much of an impact did the wind play on those kicks, do you feel? McPherson celebrated a miss. I don't think I've ever seen that either.
Yeah, he said he thought it was going in. Definitely there on that end. The ball kind of moved late, as it started losing some speed. So, honestly, when I hit my 51, I thought it was going to fall back right, as it lost, and it just, it started moving left there at the end. So, it is what it is. We'll evaluate, and I'm again just thrilled I got to hit that last one and get another game winner for this team.
There you go. That's Mason Crosby after the game. Funny story to that. After Mason left the podium, he went to walk out of the door. and the door was locked. He couldn't get out. He had to actually go out through the back entrance because the door was locked. Just that kind of day. Denied 4 times via field goal. Denied trying to get out of the post-game press conference for Mason Crosby today. Just not his day. But he did make a mention. I don't know if you caught that he thought that as the ball lost velocity, that it would break back to the right. And instead, that goofy wind inside Paul Brown Stadium, it comes up, and that's the south end zone. It points southward, and it's right by the river. And the wind comes up that river valley in almost a west to east fashion, and that's exactly the way the wind blew, and it blew the ball off to the left, and it just didn't get inside the upright. The other thing to think about is this. Remember, in San Francisco on the game winner, and that's another reason, you're not going to throw Mason Crosby out. The guy's winning you games, okay? He's done this. So, but don't forget about this. I mean, the coin flip as well. Tom, you're absolutely right. And Mason came out with the tails never fails, and both times it failed. Or Tim, not Tom. But don't forget, in San Francisco, they almost had that game. And then week, they had from that left side, from that right side, pressure on the right side. And had that not been called offsides, that one would have been blocked and went back for a touchdown. So maybe he was maybe something mentally was there to where they were trying to kick it just out of the ability to knock it down if you're coming from that right side, because all those balls, I think, went left, if I'm not mistaken, even the one that hit the upright. So maybe that got into it a little bit. I don't know for certain, but maybe there's a little bit of a headspace there, so to speak, or at least an attempt by special teams to say, hey, don't kick head on. Maybe we need to pull it over a little bit. So anyway, that's just something else to think about. We got an hour down. We got still another hour yet to go. This is fantastic today. This is fantastic. We've got baseball tonight, Cowboys and Giants going on right now. Bears are taking on the Raiders right now. You still got some good games this afternoon on the docket. You've got Arizona right now against San Francisco out in Arizona, and Arizona leading that contest. We'll get you caught up on the scores that are going on as we speak. We'll get you caught up on the rest of the day. We'll continue to hear from inside the locker room as well. Devante Adams with a big day today. So when you want to talk about statistics, something to think about when it comes to Devante Adams and what he put up, because he put up some big numbers, Devante did. As a matter of fact, Devante Adams, 11 catches, 200, the most yardage he's ever had in a game, 206 yards and a touchdown. 11 catches, 206 yards. 11 catches, 206 yards. Aaron Rodgers, after starting out that opening drive with the pick and had such a bad quarterback rating, still ended up 27 of 39, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 102.9. So still a decent day, but I can't believe they didn't give the ball more to Aaron Jones. Just can't figure it. So an hour down, an hour yet to go. Stay tuned. Going to get to your phone calls as well. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Bring it. Your reaction. Packers get a win. We got more coming up right after this.
If you came across a child struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you recognize a 13-year-old boy who gets into fights at school?
Not because he's a boy, but because he's hungry?
Or a 2-year-old girl who cries all night?
Not because she's sick, but because she went to bed without enough to eat.
Or maybe a 9-year-old boy who hopes a friend invites him to a sleepover?
Not for fun, just so we can have dinner.
Or a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks over lunch,
so her friends won't know she doesn't have anything to eat?
I am the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger. Kids you pass by every day, but never knew were hungry. I am Child of Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Blue 58, go! Green 18. Green 18, touch. This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
25-22 the final. The Green Bay Packers, they get a win. They ended up knocking off Cincinnati, their first win ever at Paul Brown Stadium. And it was an ugly one. It just, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, on some facets, you can look at it and say fantastic. On others, you can say, what the hell, you know? Just a big day today. Chase, by the way, for Cincinnati, 6 catches, 159 yards. So both wide receivers, both Devante Adams and Chase of the Bengals, he had a huge day today as well. Jamar Chase was fantastic. He was everything he's been billed to be. And Joe Burrow, a couple of mistakes, a couple of rookie tosses, doesn't have the same ability yet in the league as Aaron Rodgers does, and just tried to make something out of nothing. Joe Burrow going down with an injury at one point, cleared to come back, and then tossing that ill-advised pass. It gets picked off, you know. But overall, man, good day today. Good day today for the Packers when you talk about just getting the win and getting out. 877-867-1670. So go ahead and hit us up. Phone lines are wide open. No reason not to give us your reaction to this. Packers get a win, but how ugly was it? Packers get a win, but what are the good? And it's the good, the bad, and the ugly of all of this. What was just bad about this ball game, other than the obvious that was Mason Crosby in the kicking today? What was just bad about it, or what was head scratching about this contest? 877-867-1670. You can hit us up over on Facebook, on the Facebook fan page. You can find me on Twitter at Bill_Michaels. Dean says, actually amazed they won. Thought with Jair out and Burrow would have taken a advantage of a bigger day. Between that and the 3/5 of the starting offensive line out, I thought it'd be a close loss. The fact that they won gives me some hope. That's an unbelievably optimistic way of looking at this. I'll go with that. Unbelievably optimistic. Let's get back over to the Bud Light live stream. Bad giving up the TD but just before the half, Craig says. Hammersmith says, how many did Mason make today? Mason Crosby actually made kicks today, so you can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Mason Crosby had the 44-yarder. Then he had another 44-yarder in the third. He had the 22-yarder in the fourth. And then he had the 49-yarder in overtime. So he did make kicks today. It wasn't like today was a day in which he just couldn't make. Remember when he missed them in Detroit? He didn't make any. That was it. He didn't make any. Here today, at least he split the uprights on more than a few.
Terrible call on the coin toss, though.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 shot, you know. He went tails never fails. And ended up. I like the fact that the official comes to the huddle and goes, "Oh yeah, great game today, there, guys," or whatever he specifically said. And Mason Crosby just missed that field goal. And Mason looked at him like, "Just shut up and flip the coin. Just leave me alone." I don't know if he was doing that on purpose or if he was just genuinely excited about a pretty exciting game. But I thought that was funny. Justin says, what was the rationale of having Crosby kick it on 3rd and 15 instead of trying to get it closer via a quick pass? Did they ever explain that? Why try to kick it on 3rd and 15, Ben?
No, I haven't heard. But
I don't know.
You don't want to fumble.
You don't want to fumble. You don't want to pick, you know, but I don't know. I mean, unless Mason said, I got this, I have no idea. I have no idea why they didn't at least attempt to get it a little bit closer. No, I mean, you're one broken tackle away from either putting in the end zone or getting a first down. No idea. No idea at all. 877-867-1670. Brian says, biggest issue is red zone offense, settling for field goals all the time. Not going to cut it. You've got to score. Got to score 30 every week to win in this league. And field goals are not going to get you there. And that I agree. The offense, I don't understand the play calling between the 20s and then inside the 20. This team has been pretty good at putting the ball in the end zone, But I even made a note of that today. You run the ball, you mix it up, you go with play action. There's a lot of misdirection, a lot of movement. You get in the red zone, and it's shotgun, no movement, nothing. Throw the football, throw the football, throw the football. I don't get it. And this is not that Matt LaFleur offense we're so used to seeing. This is not the Matt LaFleur offense that we saw out in San Francisco when Devante Adams breaks down and does a quick out, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, is wide open with a catch because of motion. That's not it. It was just straight line up. Here we go. It looked like, and somebody even tweeted it out, it looked like Mike McCarthy's offense all over again. I don't know what they reverted back to or why they did it. And I don't know whose call that was. For everybody who wants to blame LaFleur, I'm not blaming LaFleur anymore. When we know what we know, that Aaron Rodgers now has the power to call his own plays in the huddle, in the red zone, and beyond. I don't know who's calling the plays. I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just simply saying I don't know who's calling the plays. So I'm not just blaming LaFleur, but that's something that has to be corrected. Let's see here. Dale says that's why you kick the field goal on third down. Is because you're worried about a fumble or a bad snap? You've been doing it the whole game. You would never do it in any other situation. And I know the situation can dictate, but I don't understand that. That's conceding flaws. I guess the best.
Well, he's saying if you snap it to the holder, something gets fumbled, he could fall on it, then you get another shot at it as opposed to fourth down.
Yeah, I don't know if I get it. I understand it, but I still don't agree with it. Let's see here. This one's from Jake. Jake says, good win just to get the W, but they have a lot to work on. This is a film study game for Matt LaFleur and his coaches. 100%. 100% correct. There was you want to talk about some of the good in this game you can look at and say, okay, look, Devondre Campbell, big game. Defensive front, when Joe Barry, I don't know if you noticed this, but he switched over to a 4-3 early on in that contest, and they were getting pressure. They had pulled Kenny Clark. They had gone with TJ Slayton. He was in. Lowry was in. Lancaster was in. They were running 4 up front, and then they went back to a 3-4 where they were still rushing the 3 in the middle, but then they were bringing pressure from either side. So they were mixing it up. So but you were working. I mean, that defensive front was kicking Cincinnati's ass, and all of a sudden you just were done with it. I don't know why. And they went back to it later in the ball game, and it was successful again. But I don't know why they just it never. It always amazes me that coaches try to outthink themselves, that they're the smartest guy in the room. When you start to think that, you're the dumbest guy in the room. Because if somebody makes an adjustment, change. But if they don't, what are you doing? Why are you getting out of something that works? The old adage in football is, I'm going to run it down your throat. I'm going to continue to beat you up until you figure out a way to stop me. And if you can't stop me, I'm going to kick your ass all day long. It's that simple in football. And I don't know why sometimes coaches just get away from it. Mark says, what did you think of Adrian Amos's play? He had the miss, but he also had the interception today. He had the miss early on. He had the interception. He was, by the way, I think he was your leading tackler, if I'm not mistaken, just from what I tallied on my sheet. I think he was your leading tackler today, him and Devondre Campbell. And you talk about the same thing. Campbell had a tackle for loss. I think he tied with Adrian Amos for the team leading tackle, and he had an interception today. I mean, he had a big day today. Barnes had a nice day today. He had the sack. He had 2 quarterback hurries today coming in. So a big day for him. 877-867-1670. By the way, in Chicago, the Justin Fields experiment comes to a quick end as he is now hyperextended his knee. He is out. He limps to the sideline. So another quarterback down for the Chicago Bears. Oh, that looked ugly. That looked ugly. Ugh. Just not good. If you want to give us a shout, do it. Devante Adams, big day today, over 200 yards receiving, was just at the podium. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
Did I think I had what?
The game won.
A few different times, man. Definitely thought we were in a decent position, but that's why we're a full team, just in case stuff like that happens, where we can step up, give more opportunities. It's a tough job. Everybody says, "Oh, if you're a kicker, all you got to do is kick. Why can't you just make the ball?" But when that's your sole responsibility, it's tough. It's tough to come back after making a few mistakes out there. So all that matters was that last one. That's the only one I remember. I don't even remember how many he missed. I just remember the one he made. So
Do you remember what you're thinking before that kick, though, with that insanity and what's going on both sides? What's going on in your mind?
just hoping that it goes through, obviously. But didn't want to get too up or too down. Just, I know we were in a good spot, but it's not a easy task doing that. So, I'm obviously aware of that. And, we were a little, I don't know what the word is, but, we were expecting to win it a couple of times, but he's been through that before and he's come out on the other side victorious, just how he did in this one. So proud of him for how he bounced back.
What does that say about Mason to miss so many consecutive kicks and then just come through clutch in the end?
It says a lot. It just says that he's been through that before. And, like I said a couple of times, it's not an easy job. So to kind of flip your mind and it counts. That count. It's huge. They obviously gave us a few opportunities to come back and, gave us another chance. So capitalize on the last one. That's the most important.
We heard the celebration. Where does that rank in terms of road celebrations in a regular season game?
It's up there, man. Definitely up there. It's tough to win games in this league, and the Bengals are a good team. It's not the old Bengals that everybody just kind of expect to roll over. Really, really good offense, and they got some guys on defense as well that can get out there and make some plays. So, we didn't do what we should have done early on. We probably could have helped ourselves out a little bit, but to win one like that tight, postseason, regular season, whatever, is definitely sweet.
Is this especially rewarding because you guys are without a lot of key players today?
Yeah, man. Which just shows the depth that we have. Speaks to everybody being prepared for their opportunity getting in there. A couple of guys went down on defense. Some offense obviously as well too. Our O-line's pretty beat up. So for those guys to step up and do what they had to do in the moment, it's big.
If you had to use one word to describe your connection with Aaron today, what would it be and why?
One word. It was good. It was good. Because I think we left a couple of them out there and, but obviously we had a pretty productive day, clicking up with each other, got some good one-on-one ops. I was doubled a decent amount of the day again, but I feel like, it's a credit to Matt and 12 for coming up with some plays to still give me some opportunities down the field. Felt really good catching that deep one down there. So, just continue to capitalize on these opportunities we're given and, just snowball this momentum in the next week.
Anything else? You said earlier, Steph, you were talking about Taylor Mason. What about you when these guys are gone in a game like this? Do you sometimes feel as good kidding with you going on in a game like this?
You mean like on the defense? Yeah. It's my job as a leader to make sure everybody else is kind of have the same mindset. And I'm built for those moments. So, I don't really let the moment get too big. You just got to get out there and treat it just like you would go any other time. Anytime you let everything get to you and the outside noise, the gravity of the situation is tough. And obviously it makes it harder to make those plays. You get your heart beating a little bit more. So I just go into my stepbrother's laser ninja focus and just lock in and go make the play.
On the snap, that final snap of regulation, did it feel a little bit like San Francisco do all over again? And what did you see on that play?
Yeah, I had this thing in games where I have deja vu during the play. It's like a really weird thing. I told Quez and they thought something was wrong with me. Told them about it a couple, probably like 2 years ago, where sometimes I'll catch a ball and as I'm catching the football, I'll subconsciously have like a quick flashback to like something that's happened before. I don't know. It's like some weird That's So Raven shit. But yeah, so when I get in those moments, I think that it kind of helps me because, obviously I've been there before. So starting on the field, I started to try to, take it all the way. I just didn't know it was on that backside. Obviously getting down the field, it would have made it tough for the old line to catch up if I got caught on like the 5 or something like that. So just had to get down and, give him my op. But obviously we didn't put that one through, but he came through at the end.
Devante, when you have games like this and you've had several of them, do you ever say, what else do I need to do to be the highest paid receiver in this game?
Nah, I don't. It's time to I'm just catching balls now and just having fun. It's I'm not really thinking about that. But I mean, that's typically how it goes. But that's not really my main focus when I'm out there.
There's a reality to all of that when you talk about Devante Adams, because the question is going to continue to come up. He has these big games, and people are going to look at him and go, how much is too much? Because of the quality receiver he is. And it's just something that on one hand you think about because you think you have this incredible combination and you would be an absolute moron to get rid of it, to blow out Aaron Rodgers, to watch Devante Adams walk out the door. This combination is one of the most productive, if not the most productive in the NFL. And you're nuts to let it go. On the other hand, it comes down to dollars. And you can talk all you want about don't let it go and people are crazy. And so, but if both guys want all the money, you can't operate a business that way. And that's the determining factor ultimately between Aaron Rodgers and Devante Adams and what Gutekunst and Russ Ball are going to try to figure out before it's all said and done. A side note to the game today, Joe Burrow left Paul Brown Stadium in an ambulance. He is being evaluated for a throat contusion/concussion, so to speak. He got hit in the throat, was having trouble breathing. And so they, and it's not life-threatening, but they had to take him to the hospital to get his throat evaluated. Remember, we've talked about this before, where a guy got hit in the throat and had a broken larynx. I mean, that just sounds painful. But Joe Burrow today, taken to a hospital. We're going to hear from Matt LaFleur. We're going to hear from Aaron Rodgers. Want to hear from you. Today was ugly. 25-22, but it's a win. 25-22, Packers get a win. They knock off Cincinnati. This is brought to you by our good friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. Packers, again, get a win. They're 4-1 on the season. Fantastic. But what did we learn from this game? And how good is this team actually? Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Green and Gold postgame show next.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You got to hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Yeah, yeah.
Glad to have you back. Packers going to win 25-22. They knock off Cincinnati in Cincinnati. They go to 4-1 on the season. And when you start to roll around the rest of the National Football League, you look at the teams that are in that same air. And one of those two teams, whether it's Cleveland or the Chargers, are going to go to 4-1 as well. They're battling it out right now. 17-13, the Browns on top. The Bears hold a 4-point advantage over the Raiders. Raiders trying to get to 4-1 on the season. Bears sitting at 2-2. Justin Fields down with a hyperextended knee, did come back into the game. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, who are undefeated, are leading right now San Francisco in Arizona 7-0. The Cowboys up 10-3 on the Giants. And you've got Sunday Night Football, the Bills and the Chiefs. So you got a good one tonight in football. You got the Red Sox tonight coming up, taking on, I believe it's Tampa Bay. You got Houston tonight and the White Sox. Tomorrow on Monday Night Football, you've got the Colts and the Ravens. You also have the Brewers getting back into action down in Atlanta. Freddie Peralta will go to the Hill for the Crew to try to get the Crew and the home field advantage back for the Milwaukee Brewers. Meanwhile, you've got the Rams over the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football, 26-17. The Rams also now in that 4-1 air, 27-20. The Falcons, I can't figure them out, but they got a win today. They knocked off the Jets, and they go to 2-3 in the season. The Eagles come up big over the Panthers. How about that? 21-18. Did you see that coming, Ben?
Birds are back, baby. I like football again.
Didn't see that coming, but the
Not
Panthers,
at all.
man, wow. To take a couple of losses like that. So the Panthers get beat again, 21-18 by Philadelphia. The Patriots, they get a 3-point win over the Texans. The Titans, 37-19. They handle the 0 for Jacksonville Jaguars. The Vikings eke out a win over the Lions, 19-17 at US Bank Stadium. Pittsburgh bounces back, and Big Ben has a pretty good day, 27-19. They beat the Broncos. Buccaneers drown the Dolphins, 45-17, and the Saints, 33-22. Over the Washington football team. Let's do this. Matt LaFleur just left the podium a minute ago. Let's take a listen to what Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Packers, had to say after this one.
I'll be more proud of those guys. It was far from perfect. I think a lot of that you got to give the Bengals a ton of credit. I got so much respect for their coaches, their players. I think Zach's done an unbelievable job instilling just a great culture there. And then when you combine that with really good players, then you got a chance each and every week. And I think that it was just a hard fought football game. Apologize to all the Packer fans out there. I'm sure there was some high blood pressure going on throughout the entirety of the game, especially there at the end. But, bottom line is we're 4-1 and you don't get style points. So however we find ways to win, that's going to benefit us, I think, later in the season.
Was there any point, Matt, where you just said we cannot try another field goal? We've got to win it another way, or no?
Yeah, Rob, that definitely crossed my mind. Certainly, especially there at the end when it was just 4th and inches. But Mo was calling for the field goal. I went over to Mason. I could see the look in his eyes. There was zero flinch from him, and that's what we talk about all the time. I couldn't be happier for him. I told the team afterwards, I was like, the only kick I'll remember is that last kick. So it wasn't pretty. I know that. I realize that. And it starts with me. I got to be a lot better for our guys. But I was super proud of just how we responded, because there was moments there where it wasn't looking too good for us. And, those guys kept believing.
Did you literally ask him if he wanted to go out for that fourth one?
I literally asked him. I walked over. He was in the kicking net. He was coming back towards the field. I said, "Hey, what do you think?" He's like, "I got this." And so I was like, "All right, you got it. Go do it."
If you had seen any flinch,
if I would have felt anything, we would have gone for it. But there was never a doubt in his mind. So I trust him. He's been doing it a really long time at a really high level. He's made a lot of clutch kicks for us, and it was just, it's part of the story. What a great team win.
Did you ask him because you were on the fence and you didn't have a gut feeling, or what?
Well, it's just, I think, between both sides, right? You see so many kicks that are just a hair off. But also just the situation, when it's 4th and inches and you got a lot of confidence in your offense to be able to convert that. I did what I thought in my gut was the right thing to do. And thankfully he delivered.
No flinch with Mason, but as you're watching first kick, consecutive, second, third, and fourth, what are you thinking each successive time he goes up?
Well, I never think that he's not going to come through and not going to make it. I always believe. And so when it doesn't go in, it's kind of a shock. So, but, it was one of those days, but ultimately, when we needed it most, he got it done.
Offensive line very mismatched. You're missing 3 starters. What can you say about how they play?
Oh man, those guys, we are so fortunate. Number one, to have the group that we have. So fortunate to have the coaches that we have in that room, Steno and Buckus. Zetz is in there as well. But it's a pleasure to come to work with these guys each and every day. These guys are always ready to battle. I couldn't be more proud of them. The one, I guess, silver lining about this whole thing is, you're developing some young guys in the process of this that you never know what this game, especially at the end of the year, what it can come down to. And, it's great for the development of a lot of those guys. And, but we're lucky to have just great people that will battle, and they put it all in each and every week, just the amount of work that goes into it. And really happy for that room.
On the 200-yard game, and I think it's like a question you're getting. How crazy is it that the guy has such a monster day? He did so much on this.
Well, yeah, and I could feel him early, and I could tell he's a guy that's hungry for the football, and he shows good reason why. I mean, he's got people draped all over him. It doesn't matter. He finds a way to do it every time. There's a reason he's got that 99 rating, in Madden. So he is a baller. I don't think there's anybody better than him. We're fortunate to have him. But again, he does such a great job throughout the week, just the way he prepares, the way he takes care of his body, the way his mind works, the rapport that he has with our quarterback. And he is as resilient as they come as well. So just really happy for his success. And, that's, like he said, that's the standard for him.
Misses piled up on both sides. Were you able to watch the kicks when they were lining up, when you were lining up, and how did you watch them if you were?
Just like you did, man. I was holding my breath every time. But I certainly, anytime the game's on the line, you're always watching the kick. There was a lot of different things going on in my head. Do I look at the scoreboard? Do I watch the kick live? Always trying to think in terms of not trying to be too superstitious, but what did I do last time? Let me do the opposite. No, it was definitely a very exciting game.
There you go, Matt LaFleur after the game talking to the media. Let's do this. I still want to get more of your reaction to all of this. We got a lot of people chiming in over on the Bud Light live stream. We certainly appreciate you being there over on the Facebook fan page and also over on Twitter as well. You can always subscribe for free to everything regarding the show simply by going to YouTube, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. When we come back, we'll hear from the quarterback. We also got Mike Clemens right around the corner. We'll get his take on this. Is this a win by a championship team that overcomes its mistakes? Or at 4-1, are the Packers just not as good as their record? You can answer that question as well. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Green and Gold Postgame Show brought to you by and presented by our good friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Green and Gold Postgame Show. More after this.
This is the Green and Gold Postgame Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Got it up over on the Twitter poll. Is this a good team? Is this a championship caliber team that overcomes their own mistakes? Or at 4-1 of the Packers, maybe not as good as their record? Just under 100 votes have come in, and 57.1% of you say they are a good championship level team. So a lot of belief in this Packers team thus far. This one's from James, who says they're missing Jair, Bakhtiari, Jenkins, Adarius Smith. So 4 of their top 8 players, the other 4 being Rodgers, Adams, Clark, and Aaron Jones. I do think Lazard and Tanyan have not been as good so far this season as Cobb, and the return of MVS is needed. So he said, I would take them right now where they're at. This one's from Ryan, and this one was one that I thought was rather interesting from earlier today, because I wrote down the same thing in my notes, just to a different vernacular. But he said, no short crossing routes. Rodgers bombing away everywhere, mainly to Devante, instead of taking what the defense gives you at crunch time, just like the 49ers game or the last couple of series. We just don't put teams away. I had said a couple of different times, I said they get down close, and instead of, once you get into, opponent's territory, why do they quit doing what got them there to begin with? They run the ball, look really good doing it. Then it's shotgun pass, shotgun pass, shotgun pass, shotgun pass. And 2 or 3 of these things are launched down the field. I get it. If you run the ball well, when you run the ball, you bring the opponent up into the box, because they're starting to prevent the run, and that'll open up things matchup-wise deep. But if it seems like it takes the rhythm out of your team. It just does. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, after the ball game, he had this to say. He just speaking at the podium just moments ago.
Was looking for Mo Drayton, because that was a big decision. Do we go for it? With Mace having missed a few kicks, and I said, Mo, is he going to make it? And he said, hell yeah, he's going to make it. So I said, let's kick it then. He was confident. I was confident. I ended up standing way down on the end. The first couple, I was more towards the middle of the team, so maybe the good juju is down on the end. So I'm going to make sure I'm down on the end for a future game-winning kicks.
How many times did you think you had won that game, and how many times do you think you had lost that game?
Oh, man, too many. We got it down there, 2 minutes left, and had a miscommunication up front. Had to take wide open, missed him. That would have been up 7. And we still have a chip shot field goal. Miss it. And then we get it back somehow. They missed that field goal. Long one off the upright. Hit Tay. Gets it down in there. We clock it, thinking that's going to be just like San Fran. Nope. Dre picks it off. Okay, here we go. Now it's over, right? Both teams tried to lose that game a few times.
Where does this rank on crazy games for you?
It's definitely not the craziest Cincinnati game. 2005 for sure beats this one, partly because of the final score and also the guy running out of the stands and taking the ball from Favre and having a nice zigzag. I'm sure if he's still around and out of jail, he enjoyed the the ego boost this week.
The fact that you did it without really 3 starting offensive linemen, without Jair, does that make it more rewarding than a typical 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys in the locker room and guys that played that weren't with his football team in August, that weren't with his football team in June. A lot of big plays and high volume play counts for guys who, we didn't count on being a part of it. I said it, during the week, but, if you had told me it'd be Yash, Runyon, Lucas Patrick, Royce, and Billy as the starting 5, I would have said, ooh, hope that turns out. But man, those guys played good. They really have. They played really good. Proud of them. Defensively, I mean, we had Dre, obviously wasn't part of our team, and Ike, who we traded for, playing a lot of snaps for us, and Tyler Davis on offense, who wasn't with his team, playing a lot of snaps, had a tackle on special teams. So really proud of those guys. Be 4-1 with the injuries we've dealt with. Feels really good.
With your really long history with Mason, does that make a win like this more special? A guy you've shared so many memories, so many ups and downs with, to see the way it's been.
Yeah, I mean, the bus ride's going to be. I know he's a couple of those kicks, but to drill a 50-yarder like that to win the game is special. He's a special guy, great player. A lot of times, just like with quarterbacking, there's other factors that go into the whole operation. And I think we got to clean up the operation a little bit and make sure we're giving him laces every time and making his job a little bit easier.
When's the last time Devante did something that surprised you?
It's been a while. I mean, he's just so talented. Even when you know that I'm probably going to him, he still finds a way to get open and makes a big catch and breaks the tackle. And I mean, the guy's a special player. We hit him on some plays that, against some coverages we hadn't expected or run those plays against over the last couple years. That deep ball. I haven't hit that type of reaction on that play since 2009 at Arizona in week 17, I believe it was. Just he's such a talented guy. Got to find ways to keep getting him involved, and proud of Big Dog. He had a couple big plays for us today. Obviously, run blocking, he's just fantastic. I thought A.J. Dillon had a nice game. Aaron Jones, obviously. Cobby coming up with that big catch on 3rd and 18 that set up the game-winning field goal. Allen, the way that he blocked and played on teams. It's one of those team wins, and that's a fun cliche for coaches to say, "Oh, it was a great team win," but this was actually the epitome of a team win when you look at some of the guys that played big minutes for us.
What can you say about how A.J. Dillon has just kind of helped open up the offense since Devante's getting so much more double teams?
I don't know if the two are exactly related. I feel like we have a good 1-2 punch with Aaron and A.J. I'm proud of the touchdown catch because I threw him a high, hot one. And we were just laughing about how he thought he was going to get in kind of relatively easy and didn't. He kind of took a shot there. He's such a big body though, but he's ran the ball well for us last couple weeks especially. He's done a good job in the passing game, catching the ball and run after catch. He's just expanded his ability to play and be more than just a downhill winter running back for us, and I give him all the credit.
There you go, Aaron Rodgers after the ball game, get ready to get out of there. When we come back, we're going to get some analysis from our guy on the ground. Mike Clemens is going to be joining us. We'll touch base with him. Final segment of the Green and Gold Postgame Show presented by Bud Light. Coming up next here.
This is the Green and Gold Postgame Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Packers get a win. They knock off Cincinnati. It wasn't beautiful fashion. It wasn't a dismantling. It was hang on by the fingertips. By the way, in the poll question, it's over on Twitter. Is this a win by a championship team that overcomes mistakes, or at 4-1 are the Packers not as good as their record? 57% of you saying they are a championship level team. 43% saying not as good as their record. 258 votes tallied, and we've got a ways to go. So we'll revisit that tomorrow. Meantime, Mike Clemens, NFL Sirius Radio, joining us on the line. So, Michael, you talking about an ugly game, man. This was why weird things happen in Cincinnati. I don't know, but it's just a weird place to play, I guess, for the Packers.
I think they're saying it's a record amount of doinks in a single game from both kickers of both teams. But what's spoiled is a big day for Devante Adams. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 39 times today. 16 times it went to Devante. He caught 11 of them for 206 yards, a career day for him. The longest was 59. Of course, another one of those could have been like the game against the 49ers to set up for the win. And Devante talked about that play.
I have this thing in games where I have deja vu during the play. It's like a really weird thing. I told Quez and they thought something was wrong with me. Told them about it a couple, probably like 2 years ago, where sometimes I'll catch a ball and as I'm catching the football, I'll subconsciously have like a quick flashback to like something that's happened before. I don't know. It's like some weird That's So Raven shit. But yeah, so when I get in those moments, I think that it kind of helps me because, you know, obviously I've been there before. So starting on the field, I started to try to, you know, take it all the way. I just didn't know it was on that backside. Obviously getting down the field, it would have made it tough for the old line to catch up if I got caught on like the 5 or something like that. So just had to get down and, you know, give him my op. But obviously we didn't put that one through, but he came through at the end.
Mike, just a weird day. I mean, the fact that Mason Crosby has been so good, and to have it kind of unspiral at this point, although all the misses were to the left, and that goofy end zone that points towards the river where the wind comes up the river, it's an open end zone. Apparently they expected the ball to break right, and instead it was pushing left. I mean, both kickers had trouble there. I don't know if it forgives it, but certainly it's a weird place to kick.
In the same north end zone, Mason Crosby had missed that point after. Okay, fine, shanked it. But then the next one was a short field goal, and I thought, by the way, the rotation of the ball, or maybe it was that PAT, I thought maybe a Bengal got his hand on it. So during a break, I was able to look. I did not see anybody get a hand on it. He was just shanking it, and I'm thinking that some of the times, Corey Bojorquez, the punter, who by the way had a bad punt from the 20, only 39 yards. Right. Was not getting the laces out, and you just heard Aaron Rodgers say, we got to check the operation. Now, you're not going to get Mason to say, you know, why he was 4 for 7 and 1 for 2 and extra points. But Mason was asked when he finally kicked a game winner, how does that feel?
You know, I'm excited right now. You know, it's you got to take joy in you know, in the moments. So you know, it's all I can think about is that last kick right now. It's you know, it's you see the faces of your teammates and you know what those guys put on the line to continue to get in that position. I just want to come through for them. So you know, everyone has all the faith in the world in me, and I have all the faith in the world that I'm going to keep getting those ops. So you know, I'm so happy I was able to come through there at the end, and you know, I'm going to celebrate it. And then I'm a realist and I'm honest with myself, and I'm probably my harshest critic. So I'm going to make sure that I do what I can, and you know, we'll clean up anything, you know, on the other side of you know, if there are any operation or you know, protection or things like that. But you know, up front, those guys, we moved some guys around. The protection seemed really, really great all day.
What did your teammates say to you after those first couple misses that kept your confidence high?
You know, nobody blinked in there. I mean, it was just, and, you know, myself, like, I'm going to always like kind of process back through, and, you know, I'm going to go through my thing, but, you know, I have every confidence that every time I'm stepping on the field, I'm going to hit a good ball and it's going to go through the uprights. So I just kept reloading and we kept getting hops, and, you know, I was able to, you know, hit a really good ball there on the 49-yarder and just try to just smooth it through. I'm like, I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to let that wind hold it and, you know, just hit it exactly how I wanted to.
Mike, you know, Matt LaFleur, a lot of faith in him. The fact that he went over, he talked to him and all that kind of stuff. But this was very reminiscent of Detroit some years ago. And we all thought, oh, boy. And then they brought in competition. And, you know, I saw people saying, you got to cut Crosby. He's getting too old. And it's like every time he's got competition, every time he's been challenged, he's risen to the occasion. So you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. This guy's hit a lot of big kicks, got a lot of, just a bad day. Scrap it and move on.
Well, you know, your kicker overall is 5 for 9 for the day. And then, you know, you get another break when the Bengals doink could have been a game winner. So then you convert on 3rd and 18 to Randall Cobb, and then you're Matt LaFleur. You got that 4th down. You couldn't draw him off sides. So are you going to go to this guy? And Matt LaFleur said he went to a special teams coach, Mo Drayton, who says, no, we are calling for field goal. Mason Crosby is ready. Here we go. For, you know, the 9th attempt of the day, and here's what Matt LaFleur said on his decision.
Mo was calling for the field goal. I went over to Mason. I could see the look in his eyes. There was zero flinch from him, and that's what we talk about all the time. I couldn't be happier for him. I told the team afterwards, I was like, the only kick I'll remember is that last kick. So. It wasn't pretty. I know that. I realize that. And it starts with me. I got to be a lot better for our guys. But I was super proud of just how we responded, because there was moments there where it wasn't looking too good for us. And, you know, those guys kept believing.
Did you literally ask him if he wanted to go out for that 4th one?
I literally asked him. I walked over. He was in the kicking net. He was coming back towards the field. I said, hey, what do you think? He's like, I got this. And so I was like, all right, you got it. Go do it.
Mike, what else did you take away from this game? I thought the play calling at times was a little sporadic. The defense inside the red zone, the numbers are still not very good. But huge day for Devante. I don't know why they got away from Aaron Jones early, but Aaron Jones still pulled it off towards the end of the ball game. But just a lot of ups and downs in this thing.
Regarding Aaron Jones, Bill, when they would run him in the flats for a little pass, it seemed to be covered. When A.J. Dillon ran out to the flats, they let him go. It's like they didn't think he 28 was capable of catching a pass. He got a 12-yarder and he got a touchdown out of that. That was interesting. Defensively, Devondre Campbell, give that guy a game ball. I mean, he leaves the game with a shoulder injury, comes back in, gets the pick, like Aaron Rodgers said in his presser. How is this guy still on the field or on the street? How did we pick this guy up for free from the Cardinals and the Falcons? He's been outstanding for them. But one key thing for me is this. Because, Aaron Rodgers had big plays today to Devante. He was busting them on both zone and man coverage over the middle of the field. And, we did get Aaron Jones going at some point. I'm very curious to hear what Rodgers will say on why he had to call a timeout on that second and goal in the fourth quarter. He was making a change, and Lucas Patrick, who was at center today, trying to declare protection at the same time. There was a confusion, and Rodgers gets pissed, and he calls a timeout. The Dillon run was stopped on the next play, and then the pass to Cobb for a touchdown was incomplete, so they had to settle for one of the field goals they made that day. But I saw that a couple of times. So although Rodgers praised, there was Bengals Stadium, and Rodgers, they were running no huddle and using up 20 seconds of the play clock. Mm-hmm. Something going on there in terms of Rodgers and getting the right protection out of his offensive line they've got to clean up.
Yeah, and offensively, they had 21 first downs, but they were only 36% on third down. The Packers were. Meanwhile, not a bad day defensively, 18 first downs for the Bengals, but only 35% on third down. So defensively, in the red zone, the Packers aren't great, but between the 20s, they were getting the job done. If they could keep you out of the 20, out of the red zone, they were doing pretty well today.
Kevin King got run over by Tyler Boyd. It was a tough hit and jacked up his shoulder. I don't believe he returned to the game. He was listed as questionable. But that Eric Stokes kid, I'll take that. For a rookie, and to cover guys like Jamar Chase, I thought Eric Stokes is showing great progress, week 5 into this thing. And so although God knows how long Jair is going to be on IR when he gets him back, at least they can build something around Stokes in that secondary for the next game against the Bears.
Next week, it's down in Chicago, man. We'll talk again on Monday, okay?
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, buddy. One more time from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, before a crowd of 64,195. It was the Green Bay Packers 25 and the Cincinnati Bengals 22. Packers go to 4-1 on the season. Remember, follow us on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Always subscribe over on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Hit subscribe. It's absolutely free. And we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Until we talk again, have a good one.